it took forever. I thought it was going to take a short time. My water broke, and I don't have long.
Right.
No,
it's a marathon. Yeah, it takes hours. That's why now, especially after having kids, when people are like, "Oh, I was in labor for 12 hours," I'm like, "Yeah, that's the norm now, kinda." When I hear a person have them fast, that's when I'm like, "Okay, you went in and you had them like an hour later." She was like, "Yeah." I'm like. Hi guys, and welcome to the Bad and Bougie Moms podcast, where we chat with phenomenal millennial mothers about motherhood, relationships, lifestyles, their passions and goals, and much more. I hope you guys enjoy. Hi guys, this is Britt. I am back from my hiatus, aka my vacation. Just want to let you guys know that was the hardest thing to do. I really love podcasting, so for me just to sit around and not literally do anything was super hard. As you all know, if you follow the Bad and Bougie Moms on Instagram, I did recently get married in the Bahamas, so you probably seen me frolicking in the ocean on the jet skis. However, behind the scenes, I was sick as a dog. Like, I couldn't taste anything for the first 2 days. My nose was raw, so every time the seawater hit me in the face, it burnt like hell. Like, I was miserable, but I enjoyed myself for the last 4 days. So thank you so much for all the well wishes on our marriage. We really appreciate it, and we are definitely in it for the long haul. So to kick off the month of September, we actually have Miss Patrice Mills in the guest chair. So Patrice is a wife, a mother of 4, and the founder of Perfect 11 Boutique, and also the person responsible for the delicious recipes on Home Cooked Recipes. You can actually find that on Instagram. She loves capturing beautiful photos as a duo with her husband at Point Shoot Media, which is also on Instagram. And if that isn't a mouthful, she enjoys lifestyle and fashion blogging as well. As she tries her very best to live through her motto to inspire to be better every single day while still maintaining and balancing home, she firmly believes that being consistent and persistent will set you on the right path to achieve your goals. Thank you guys so much for listening and also hanging around on this 2-week hiatus. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you subscribe and also let your friends know and comment below on any of the platforms that you listen to. All right, you guys, let's get into it. Hi, you guys. This is Britt with the Bad and Bougie Moms podcast, and in today's guest chair, I have Miss Patrice. Hi, Patrice. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm good. So, of course, we're going to go ahead and kick things off with getting to know you. So, tell us about your mother, being a mother, if you're in a relationship or not, everything about Patrice. Whatever you want us to know, you can let us know.
Well, I'm a wife. I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary August 15th.
Nice. So, you got married when you was, 3 years old? Because you look like you're like 19.
Oh, thank you very much. Look, I'm going to keep my age to myself. No, I'm in my mid-30s. I'm getting up there.
Nice. Okay. Well, yes, you look amazing, so it doesn't matter.
Thank you so much. But I have 4 kids. I have 3 daughters, son. All of them are school-aged. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I started my business right after I had my son back in 2014. And I guess from there, everything evolved as far as just doing blogging and just my business is concerned. But, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so about your pregnancy, so you said school age. So what's the age ranges of the 4 kids?
Well, my oldest is 10.
Okay.
And I have an 8-year-old who will be 9 this December. And then I also have a 5-year-old son. And then my youngest is 3. She'll be 4 in December. So basically, I always say I have 2 sets of twins because they're so close in age. Like I have a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old almost.
Right.
And then I have a 5-year-old. And then I'm going to have a 4-year-old this December. So I'm done, but they're really close in age. And I think at first I thought it was going to be like really crazy having them that close in age, but it was really easy and they're so close. You know,
right.
They just really get along really well.
Right, and I'm thinking because if they're school age, that means that the two oldest, they're going to the same school together, right?
Same school.
Yes,
school.
Okay.
And they're like two peas in a pod. They are so close.
Oh my gosh. So tell us about your pregnancy stories. Was everything like smooth sailing, especially since you have 4 kids? So I know I tell people when you have multiple kids, every pregnancy is different. Like I can remember my oldest daughter, when she's 10, she'll be 11 actually next week, and then I kind of blocked out my middle son because he was like 9 pounds, so that's kind of like just blocked out of my mind. I'm like, I never want to do that again. Yeah. And then the youngest, Remington, the 10-month-old, I remember everything. Like I made sure that I took pictures and I kind of note everything down. So what was your most memorable pregnancy story?
Well, I remember all of them, but
Nice.
You know what? I have to be honest with you. I think all of my pregnancies were super easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was nothing too crazy. Like, my first pregnancy, of course, that was something new, but that was back in 2008. And so when we had just purchased our house, and I had just gotten on maternity leave a couple weeks earlier. So it was just like getting the house. I was just like in the nesting stages.
Okay.
And so my husband had, let me take it back. I'm calling him my husband now, but when we had our first daughter, we weren't married.
Okay.
And he was leaving for work, and, we said, I'll see you later. And like, not even 15 minutes after he left, I got in the shower, and then my water broke.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my God, yeah. It was so scary because it's like was all new for me.
Right.
So I call him back, and I'm like crying, like, oh my God, because I was thinking like the baby's going to come right away as soon as your water breaks,
Right, like so this is it.
So he comes back, and he worked in D.C. We lived in West Virginia because, like, when we first started out, we moved all the way to West Virginia to get like more house because. Being young and just starting out, we wanted really nice things, but our pockets didn't really agree with what we wanted for like the city lights. So when we first started out, we moved all the way to like an area called Falling Waters, West Virginia.
Okay.
And we got this really beautiful townhome, and it was like 28 square footage. It was like everything to us. We thought that was like a mansion for us, right? But it was brand new. And but anyway, we had just finished just getting the room and everything ready for the baby, and he had went off for work. And I told him that my water broke, and then he rushes back because we used to really have a bit of a commute, and that's how I was able to really get on the maternity leave so early.
Okay.
I just, when I really think about it, I was really blessed with just getting so much time off with my first daughter. Like I got almost like 7 to 8 months off from work.
Wow.
Before I even had to return. And it was paid. And I don't know, if you ask me how that happened, it was nothing but God. Because I literally started that job the June before I had my daughter in February. So it was just like, I think they just liked me or something.
Yeah, they had to, because now you cannot find that. Right.
They were really lenient. But when we got to the hospital, he came on back, and we got on the Beltway, and it was like the longest ride ever to me because I was having like strong contractions with her. So when we got to the hospital, it was another 8 hours before I had this girl.
Oh my gosh!
It took forever. I thought it was going to take a short time. My water broke, and I don't have long.
Right?
No,
it's a marathon. Like it takes hours. That's why now, especially after having kids, when people are like, "Oh, I was in labor for 12 hours," I'm like, "Yeah, that's the norm now, kinda." When I hear a person have them fast, that's when I'm like, okay, you went in and you had them like an hour later. She was like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Oh,
and with having her being my first, it was so many of my family and friends that came to support and be there for us while we were at the hospital. But when you're having, this is new to you, you kind of don't really know how to take it all in. So it was a bit of experience just with getting used to the time, how long it takes for her to come, and she kept turning at the last minute. So it was a little, I think out of all my pregnancies, that was probably just the only concern I had, because she kept turning and I thought, oh my gosh, I may have to have a C-section.
Right.
But I never did. She came on within about 8.5 hours, and it was a very easy pregnancy. There you go.
Nice. All right, so switching gears, we're still going to talk about parenting. So with the kids being older, how are your parenting skills? What type of advice would you give to a mother who have young kids that are at school age?
Well, I think just being a mother for girls and a boy, having a son, I have to raise them a little differently, especially in the society that we live in. Like, as far as my girls are concerned, I want them to just be strong and not weak. For me, having them just be very strong and be able to be understanding about life. And I know that sounds weird because my daughters are so young age, but even at this age, I want them to be strong, because they live in a type of world where they have to be able to hold their own. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah,
you
it
know
makes complete sense. Yeah, and I'm the same way, even with my daughter being 10. It's like, you have to teach them those affirmations and knowing, like, it's okay to be smart. It's okay to, know that you are worth it. It's okay to be that way. Don't ever let no one take that from you. So you definitely have to start them early.
Absolutely. And, I have... so many, like, all of my girls are different complexions. And so I have a daughter who's a little bit lighter than some of the others, and then I have a daughter who's really brown skinned. And so they tend to think, oh, well, why am I different from what everybody else looks like in my family? And so that's another thing I try to teach them too. Like, the way that you look is the way that God made you, and you're beautiful in your own way. So, like, one of my daughter's hair may be longer than the other daughter's hair. Different things. Because when you go to school, you see so many different types of looks, and people are very judgmental. The things that my daughters come home and tell me what they discuss or have heard someone say at this age is baffling to me. It's like, wow, they're really talking about this at this age? You'd be really surprised.
Oh my gosh. I have stories. Like, it's the same and as a mom, you want to protect them from stuff like that, but it's like you can't. Because they're going to hear it regardless. But no, I've heard plenty of conversation, and my daughter, she always try to follow it up like, well, mine, I know you are not supposed to talk about that. I'm like, I know, Kaylin. I know you know. Like, she makes sure, she's like, I know what you told me and how you raised me, but I just need to let you know what's going on at school. So
exactly. Yeah. So as far as me, I would encourage new mothers or women that are raising young girls to become women, to teach them to be leaders, but to be have a soft heart too. Teach them to be kind. Don't expect this fairy tale in life, because that's not what life is either. Life is a dream, but it's not a fairy tale.
Right.
Right. So, and then when it comes down to me I only have one son, but I have two brothers. And, just when it comes down to my son, I have to be upfront with him.
Right.
Like, he is oh my God, he is my heart. I love my girls so much, but just a mother and a son's bond is just something I cannot explain. And when you think about all the things that have taken place in society for just men and men of color, it is hard for them.
Right.
And nothing in life, you can give them and give them and give them and give them, but in life, nothing's going to come really to them for free.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, he has to be able. So what I would recommend is to raise a son who's going to grow up. He has to know one day you're going to be someone's husband. And one day you're going to be someone's father.
Right.
And you have to be able to lead by an example for the family that you will one day have. Right. And I don't want my son to grow up weak. I want him to be able to grow up strong and be able to be a provider and a God-fearing man for his family that one day he'll have. Right. And to know how to keep his temper to the side and, just be strong. Right. Be a strong person. Because it's really, when I was growing up, not that I'm old or anything, but when I was growing up, we would have our little arguments where I see the young men in school, they have their little beef or whatever, but that would be all it would be. Today, let's fast forward it to where we are now. Right. These guys are just like, we'll shoot you in a heartbeat without even thinking about it.
Right.
So, and even with the law, so I just want him to, or for any woman that is raising a son, to teach him to be strong.
Right.
And it's not easy to be strong. It really isn't, because, a human eye, you want to be able to put somebody in their place, but sometimes you have to be strong enough to keep your mouth closed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to raise my son to be able to know the difference, know when and where.
When and where to speak and when not to say certain stuff and things like that. So, yes. All right. So switching gears, since you have been happily married for the past 10 years, what is some advice you can give to newlywed couples? What would be your top 3 things that you say, hey, you need this in your relationship?
Wow. I feel like I'm a vet now that I can say I've been married for a decade.
I know.
It's funny, like, hearing you say, oh my God, you've been married for 10 years. It's like, oh, I've really been married for 10 years. Right. But, the most important thing, marriage, I will keep it 100 with you. Marriage is not easy.
Right.
But it has been easy for me because we have an understanding relationship. And I think that the first thing in a newlywed or marriage in general, you have to be able to generally be friends, know each other, know that this is how that person is. Right. So on those days that person do something that get on your last nerve, you're like, you know what? I know exactly how this person is, and I know how to deal with it, And I feel like that's really important. That's what is like one of the main things that a lot of people that are married and they get these divorces so quickly, because they're set in their own ways.
Right.
They don't want to bend for the other person, or they don't want to put their pride to the side for a moment, because they're so in their feelings about what took place for just a moment. So I think you've got to look at the overall picture of why you got married to that person, why you love that person, and your friendship with that person. I think those are the main things. And God.
Right, yeah.
I think, like, I know a lot of people have their own opinions when it comes down to being a religious or their Christianity or whatever their beliefs are. But for me and my house, we believe in God. And I think that when you do get married, you want to be able to have your marriage under something. You have to be able to have a belief in that marriage, right? Like, I've seen people where they've got married and they don't even have any belief, and the marriage fails too, because why are you even getting married? If you don't have a belief, do you really need a wedding ring?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something I think that is important too, because when you get married and when you have trials and tribulations, let's just say worst case, a spouse gets sick.
Right.
You got to know how to really handle that, because some marriages, you can love a person so much, and if that other person gets sick, or it becomes a sickly type of spouse, or, they don't know how to constantly handle that. It's like, oh my God, this is not what I signed up for. And you got to be strong enough to really love someone through everything, through financial trials, through sickness, through loss, through everything. You got to really be able to know that you got that person's back, and that they have yours 100.
Right.
So I think that's another important factor. And last, I just think just knowing that you got to truly love someone, when you really get married. A lot of people, I had a very small wedding. I didn't have a really large, fancy wedding. Like, if you would have asked me what type of wedding I was getting when I was in college, girl, we would have had talks, and it would have been this luxurious type of thing. And it didn't work out that way for me, but it ends up being the most intimate type of wedding for me, and it just have lasted me for a decade. I didn't have this big old honeymoon either, but I have so many wonderful experiences on down the line that we were able to do. So I just think just overall, you got to really be really feeling someone, and a lot of people don't. They just do it because they're spending a lot of time with this person. That person is feeling a void for them at the moment. And I think those are things that you need to avoid before you, or this person may fill that void of looking a certain way. And it's not really about those things, So you got to, before you even jump into these marriages nowadays, you got to really make sure that you're putting all of these things into consideration,
Right. Totally agree. You definitely just preached something right then. All right, so next question. How do you balance being a wife, a mother, and an entrepreneur?
Woo, Lord, you know what? I got to be honest with you. I don't know sometimes.
Like it just happens.
A wing and a prayer?
Right.
No. Seriously, I you know what, we're laughing, but I really got to be honest with you. Like, I am constantly praying for God to give me the strength to be able to do it. And honestly, some days I fall short because, I didn't marry a basketball player or football player, honey. So I don't have anybody to clean my house for me or cook for me. I don't have a personal chef or anything. I am the chef and the maid, honey. And I try to keep it all together, and it's not the easiest task to do. But I've been able to manage for the last 5 years. I've been a stay-at-home mom, and it's just been like every day it's a new challenge, but I'm able to do it. It just gets done. Like, if you don't think about it, you do what you have to do, and put on your big girl panties, and don't think about, I can't do this. This is too tough. I think you'll be able to get it done, and that's what's been happening for me.
Okay. So how was the transition going from working to being a stay-at-home mom? Because you did mention you only been a stay-at-home mom for 5 years. So how was that transition for you?
Well, it's there's light at the tunnel.
Okay.
I don't want to sound crazy or anything, but I felt like in my corporate job, I had reached a ceiling in my job. I was fortunately very blessed where I received a really good salary, but my commute was so crazy from the distance that I had to work. Just before I even got pregnant with my son, I was constantly just, oh my God, we were paying like maybe almost $1,000 a week just to put the girls in a very decent school near my job.
Right.
So weekly we were paying $1,000. I mean, it was just expensive for a daycare and or a preschool at that time because that's the age they were back then. And then it was just the hustle and bustle on the interstate back and forth to work, then having to be involved corporately because I used to do a lot of contract work for the government, and I was always in proposal mode from cradle to grave, and it was just hustle and bustle all the time. So when the time presented itself where I got pregnant with my son and I was able to get this time off, I just realized, you know what, I didn't want to do that anymore. I had felt like I had reached a ceiling in my career where I would probably get a pay raise, but at the end of the day, I would be doing this until I left and got a new job.
Right.
So I didn't want to do that job anymore. And honestly, I felt like just through prayer and just a lot of time through meditation, with myself and just talking to God, I realized I feel like there's more for me to do. And so that's how I ended up doing this entrepreneur thing. It didn't just happen overnight. Like after I had my son, a couple months went by. I think Avery, my 5-year-old son, when he was maybe about 3-4 months when I started the Perfect 11 business, I was sitting at the table. And I was like, I've always been into jewelry and I've always been into clothing and just, oh my God. I used to be a big, like when my daughters were little and I was working, I would order so much from this place called Zulily. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yes, I have.
I would order from them. And my husband would be like, what is this stuff you got at the door? And I was just constantly ordering stuff for them, for myself, from this place called Guilt 24/7 back in 2007, 2008. And so it just kind of like, as I got this time off and I had him, I was like, I don't want to go back to work. This is not for me. And so God blessed me to where I didn't have to, and that's how I started the business. But a lot of people don't realize that when they hear Perfect 11 and they see it like as it's Roman numerals for the number 11, but they don't understand that I was not in a perfect world when I had my son. Like I was at a place of change, and when you're in a place of change, you just kind of like, you don't know what's next. You're worried. You have this anxiety. You like, what in the world am I trying to do? So it was like an outlet. Like, what is it that I love? And so that's when I came up with the brand name. And it was, most people are always saying the perfect 10, this and that. But my brand for the Perfect 11 was to show that being different is perfectly okay. You don't have to be perfect. So you can be a perfect odd thing, So that's what it was about. So, I mean, it's just light at the end of the tunnel, but you got to keep working. And that was the thing. It was a slow progress for me. A lot of people don't realize, like, it took time. Just raising children, like I said, 4. My daughter was the little surprise. I thought after I had my son that I was done having children. So when I found out a couple months after he was about 7-8 months that I was expecting again, I was like, what is going on with my life right now? And, that was a surprise. Like, what?
Right. I can only imagine.
Such a blessing.
Oh my gosh. I can only imagine. She probably is the one who runs the household.
She is the boss, baby. You hear me? She's the boss, and everybody knows it.
That's so funny. All right, so switching gears. So you did mention your brand, Perfect 11. So tell us more about that. What is the Perfect 11?
Well, the Perfect 11 brand is I have jewelry that I sell, and then I also have clothing that I sell. So that's what it is. It's just it's just for you to be able to wear things that makes you feel good. It's an accessory to add to what you're wearing. So anything from accessories to clothing, that's what it is.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out. All right, so who inspires you?
Who inspires me? I would have to say it has to be a person, right? A person that inspires me. So I would say my husband. And I know that sounds cliche, right? But let me tell you why I say that.
Okay.
He is so meek. And that inspires me because that's one of the hardest things for me to be.
Okay.
And that is inspiring to me, to be have a meek type of personality.
Nice. You're the first person who said their husband inspires them. First person on the show. Yeah. I mean, I had a couple, of course, mothers, and I had one that was her mother-in-law, but first person. So you take the award for that.
I get brownie points.
Yes, you definitely do. You have to make sure he listens. All right. So last question to wrap things up. What do you do for mommy time?
For mommy time, I do a lot of exercising.
Okay.
I do a lot of cooking. One of my biggest things to relax doing is cooking. I love to create certain dishes for my family. It's just one of those things where I'm like, get out the kitchen and let me do my thing.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That's one of my things. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So do you have a cookbook, right? Or do you blog about your cooking?
I do. I do blog about my cooking.
Okay.
You got me thinking about maybe I do need to get a recipe book.
You should. You should. I would definitely buy it. See, the thing is, I can only cook by recipes. Like, I'm not the one who can just go in the kitchen and create. I actually have to pull something up, measure out all the ingredients, taste it, and be like, okay, I'm good. But, like, if you like, Brittany, go in there and cook fried chicken, I will look at you like you're crazy. Like, yo, I can't do that at all. So, I would definitely buy one.
But the funny thing is just like not only as I'm getting older, just having good gut health is really important to me, not only for myself but for the kids too. So I've been trying to cook more healthier dishes too. So I guess that's just a relaxing thing for me to do.
Nice. All right, so at the end of our episode, we play this game called the Hot Seat Round. It is 5 random questions that, of course, you do not know about. Would you like to play? Yes or no?
Sure.
Yes. Oh, okay. I'm about to say you hesitated. Like, now I'm scared. Like, what's going on? All right, so question number 1. Name 3 things that you love about yourself.
Wow. 3 things that I love about myself. One would be my loyalty.
Okay.
I always feel like I'm the most loyal person, and I think that's a good trait to have.
Yes.
If I could find someone or really have outside of my marriage a really good friendship that is as loyal as I would be to someone, I would be really lucky. The second thing would be I think I love. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, that's my alarm going off. Girl, the kids gotta get in bed.
Okay.
But no, you're good. No, you're good. No, their dad has them, so we're good.
Okay. The second thing was just that I love hard.
Okay.
I think that's a good trait.
It is.
And then the next thing would be, wow. That's when you ask questions about yourself, you should be able to answer.
Right, it's the hardest thing to do, though. I'm the same way. I have the most hardest time talking about myself, but I can talk about other people all day.
I think I'm going to combine 2 things, but I think I'm a great wife and good mom.
Nice, yes. All right, that's good. All right, question number 2: what is your favorite movie of all times?
You're gonna laugh, but it's The Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God, that's such the nerdiest movie ever in life. I tried to watch it and I fell asleep in the movie. Like I fell straight asleep. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Like, I love the sequels. The Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Question number 3. If you had $1 million, what would you buy? What would be the first thing you would buy?
If I would make sure that I'm debt free. Because I'm not there yet.
All right.
I would make sure that I'm debt free first.
Okay. And then what would you buy?
First thing.
Oh, no. And then what would you buy? What would be your second thing?
My second thing would be, oh my, if I won $1 million, I would take that long of a vacation. Does that work?
Yes, that works. Yes, you're good. All right. Question number 4. Name one special talent that you have.
I sing.
Really?
I'm a pretty good singer. Yeah. I've been thinking about putting it on YouTube, but first I got to get over the fears of talking in front of people, right? But I love to sing. I'm a pretty good singer.
Nice. Okay, yes. I'm definitely going to have to hear you sing one day. All right, last question. Number 5, do you have a girl crush? And if so, who is she?
A girl crush? I don't. I don't have a girl crush. Okay. I can't think of one. But if you ask me about a male crush, I might be able to tell you.
Who is your male crush, honey? Go ahead. We can switch it up. Who is your male crush?
Outside of my husband, Idris. I think he is just so handsome.
He's very handsome. Yes, I think he's on everyone's list. Yeah, he's awesome. Whew. Yeah. His girlfriend is fiance. She's really pretty too.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Really beautiful.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. All right, well, Patrice, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if people want to follow you and connect with you on social media, how can you be reached?
I can be reached on Instagram at Patrice Nicole Always. Okay. And I can also be reached on YouTube. I just started a YouTube channel, so subscribe because it's really cool to just be on there and kind of see yourself like really doing something that is out of your whole element.
Right.
So, it really is. But I'm on YouTube under Patrice Nicole Always as well. So be sure to check me out.
Nice. All right. Well, say bye to the people.
All right. Bye.
All right, guys. That is it for us. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you would like to get into some more fun, follow us on social media. On Instagram, we are at Bad and Bougie Moms, on Facebook at The Bad and Bougie Moms, and also on Twitter at BBM_podcast. Make sure you like, share, and comment on any of the podcast platforms that you listen to us on. Again, we hope you guys enjoy. See you later.